Hey guys, welcome back. Today I'm going to be showing you how to create the Fire Prince bracelet. This was designed by Gabby and she's on Instagram as Garamanic_cosplays. I've done plenty of tutorials for her already and I'm going to link that playlist down below if you want to check that out. I'm a big fan of her designs. They are fun and intricate and I think you guys will enjoy them. So please let Gabby know down below what you think of this design. We're going to need about 136 bands plus the extension bands that you'll need to fit your wrist. The breakdown is 28 of this olive green, 26 of this corally color, 24 of the white, 12 of the turquoise, 24 of this purple, and 22 of the black that's inside of the bracelet. You'll need one C-clip, your hook, and I'm going to show you guys the loom setup. Alright, so to get started, you're going to have 5 bars set up a line like mine are. If you want to avoid an extension, just connect another 5 bars in front of this loom setup. It comes out to be a decent size though, so you don't need quite as many extension bands for what I'm doing today. But we're going to start with that olive green color. We're going to lay the first one just loose on the center. And then with that same color, from the center, we're going to go out to the left and the right. We're going to now grab the coral and we're going to do the same thing. Lay a horizontal going left and right. Keep those colors close by. We're going to be working with 3 colors right now, but now we're going to grab the white. Sits kind of on top there. And that's going to be laid as a diagonal band connecting from the second row to the outer row. We're now going to go back to the second color, which is this one right here. We will start the pattern by laying it going like horizontal on the outer rows. Then we'll go to the first color, which is the green, and fill in the center. And then on the second row, going diagonal down to the outer row, we will lay our white. And that's the 3 steps we're going to be laying for right now. So I'll go back to my coral and lay it on the outer pins. My olive green will go in the center. And then the diagonal white. So I'm going to repeat that again. We pretty much lay this layer and then come back and lay more layers on top of it. So you will go down to the end of the loom with this. Okay, so I'll be a little bit ahead of you, but when you get down to the end of the loom, I finished my second to last row, which you can see my white connecting out there. So that's the last white that we will lay. And now we are going to finish off by laying just the center horizontal band. So whatever color you were using here where my olive green is. And we're going to lay that the same way. So in other words, the only thing we're not laying is the outer coral on those 2 rows. So just make sure your ending looks like this. And then push them down, come back to the beginning. We're going to lay another layer now. So the bands that we're going to choose now are the turquoise in the middle. It's very easy to do this part. We're just going to lay straight bands going down the center until you reach the end. Like that. So once again, push those middle bands down. We're going to choose our next color, which for me is this purple. So we're going to be laying an upside down V from the second row in up to the middle. And then you'll repeat on the right. And it makes that upside down V shape. We're going to do that on every row. So we'll come down to the next one and repeat that. We will also do this until we can't go any further down the loom. Alright, so that's what it looks like at the end of the loom. Make sure our loom looks the same. So you will need to push them down. We have one last set of bands to lay. We're going to grab the color that is inside the bracelet. You don't see it a whole lot, but I used black and I'm going to use that again today. We're going to be laying horizontal bands across the center, just like we did the olive green. We're going to start on the second row. I'm going to turn my loom so I don't blur it out. Just like that. We're going to do that going all the way down the loom. We will not lay it on the very last row. Alrighty, so once you're caught up with me, this is what it will look like down here. Don't lay anything on that very last row. So you can now actually turn your loom around so the openings are facing yourself. We are going to grab one more band of the color that you have right here. So for me it's olive green, and we're going to place a cat band on the center. Just wrap it around twice. We are officially ready to start the looping. So we're going to start by flipping some of these diagonal white bands. We need to be grabbing the top part of that band, and you're going to pull it over the pin and then release it so it's sitting like in front of it. Do the same thing on the left, grabbing the top part of that diagonal white and pulling it over it like that. We need to do that on every row. So just grab that diagonal band, pull it over, and release. It will sit like that. My heater just went off, so it went from being loud to quiet. When you get to the top, don't forget to flip the ones up here. There's not as many bands up there, but you will flip that as well. So come back to the beginning. We're going to come to the cat band down here, and we're going to start looping out of that. So we're going to go in and grab the top purple diagonal band. We're going to be looping this to the outer row. So it's going to go like diagonally upwards, basically, like that. It's a far stretch. You're going to do the same thing to the opposite side. I grabbed too many bands. So we're doing a long stretch to the outer row. We're going to go back in the cat band, and we're going to loop that straight band, which for me is this turquoise right here. And that goes forward. I want to push my bands down some after I do that. So the first row is done a little bit differently. The rest will not be done like this. But we're going to go into the cat band, and we're going to loop these olive green back to themselves. So the first one for me goes to the left, and the second to the right. Now we have to go back into the pin that we just were working on. So I'm going to do the left one first. We're just going to be moving the top part of that olive green out of the way so that we can grab the bottom part of the olive green. We're going to loop that up into the middle, like that. Come to the right one, push the top one out of the way, grab the bottom part of that olive band, and loop it up to the middle. Now we need to do one more step that's a little strange, but we need to move this white band here. So we're basically just going to pick it up off of this pin, roll it forward, and sit it on the pin in front of it. And do the same right here. Pick it up, roll it forward, excuse me, and reattach, like so. So before we move on, we are going to flip the purple band. And I don't know if it's my bright lights, but for me, they almost look like they're blending. There's two bands sitting right here. The white is right there, and then my purple. We want to grab that purple band. It's the second band on the pin, if you want to count, and pull it over and let it go. Do that on this one as well. So now we're going to actually start the pattern, and we're going to start by going into this peg right here. We're going to push back the top layers and grab the horizontal black that's on these two pins right here, and we're going to loop them back to themselves. There are a lot of bands here, so there's a lot of steps, I'm going to be honest. So after you loop them back to themselves, you're going to go back in, and now we're going to loop the purple. So they're now V's, so we're going to loop the V bands the same way we did the first time, doing a long diagonal stretch to the outer pins. Coming back into the center, we're going to loop the turquoise forward. And now we have to do something we haven't done yet. We're going to come into the second pin here, second pin in. You need to get the second to last band that's in there. So the very bottom one is coral. Don't grab that. You're grabbing the horizontal band, which for me is olive green, and looping that up into the center. We're going to do the same on this side. So we're going to come to this center pin and we're going to loop the other half of that olive green band. But this is kind of smushed for this first row, so you do have to make sure you're pushing this out of the way, and now you can see the olive green band. You're going to grab the first one that's in there, and that one will go to the left. And then go back in and bring the other one, which is the last band on that pin, bring that to the right. Once we get past this section, it won't be as smushed, but there is a lot of bands for this design. So now we need to flip part of that black band over. So if you're looking at this pin right here, we're flipping the second band down. Right here, flip it over and just let it go. Do the same on this one. Sometimes it can be hard to get your hook in there, but you're grabbing the second band down and flipping it like so. We're going to go into the same pins, this one right here, and we're going to loop that coral now. So it's the very last band that's in there. We're going to loop this outwards to the same pin that we looped the purple to. So see how they're both going to that same one? And then while we're over here, we just looped it to there. You're going to back up one, and you're going to grab the very bottom band on that pin and loop that up. And then we will flip this purple over. I like to do that all at once, and now we're going to come to the right and do the same thing. So this is where we're working with. It can be very confusing because we have bands looped up here, but we're working back here, so bear with me. So we're going to go in here. We're going to grab the very bottom coral and loop that diagonally up to where the purple was looped, and then we'll back up and loop the white border up. To finish off that part, we're going to grab this purple, which is the third band down, and release it. I know this is a very advanced design because there's so much going on. I feel like I keep saying that. Okay, so now we're going to come up to the middle here. We officially finished that section, and we're ready to start that all over again. So the first thing we're going to do is go into the center and loop the first set of horizontal bands, which are my black, back to themselves. We'll go back into the center, and we're going to loop the purples out now. So these V bands get looped out to the outer pins. We're going to go into the center again and loop the straight band, my turquoise, that goes up. Now we're going to come, we just looped here, we need to back up again, but we're not going to work in the center. We're going to come over to the pin next to it, and we're going to work with our olive green band. It's the second to last band in there. We're going to bring that up to the center. Repeat on the right. So we're going to back up, and we're going to loop the other part of that olive green band. So once you go in this center, just grab the top one and bring it to the left and the right. Coming to the same pins that we just looped them to, we are going to flip the second band over, which for me is my black, and just release it. We're going to go into that same pin, and we're going to loop the coral. We're going to do that, or excuse me, loop that diagonally up to where the purple was looped, and then back up and loop the bottom border white up to the same pin. And then you're going to flip that purple, which is the third band on that pin. We're going to come over to the right, and we're going to do the same thing. So remember, it can look confusing. Make sure you're not looping here. Make sure you look for the bands that aren't looped, which is right here. So I know that can be kind of tricky there. So we're going to come right here and loop the coral up to where that purple is. Back up a pin and loop the bottom white forward. And then we're going to grab this purple and loop it over. So we're ready to start that all over again. I have to sit that down because my hand's going numb. So we're going to start that again. So I'm going to go into the center, and we're going to loop the black horizontal bands back to themselves. Go back into the center and loop the purple out to the outer pins. Come back to the center and we're going to loop the turquoise straight. We're going to back up and then we're going to come to the pin on the side here and we're going to loop that olive green horizontal band to the center. And then we're going to back up to that middle again and we will loop the other part of that same olive green outwards. After we loop them out, we have to flip the second band down, which is the black band. And now we're going to come over to the left into that same pin. We're going to loop the coral diagonal up to where the purple was, and then we'll back up a pin and loop the white forward. To finish that part off, we're going to grab the third band down and release it. So we're going to come over to the right side and repeat the same thing. So we're going to locate where our last coral is that hasn't been looped, which is right here for me. We're going to loop that diagonal up to where the purple is and then back up and loop the bottom band forward. Finish off by grabbing the third band on that pin, which is my purple, and flipping it over. So we're going to do that again. I did zoom out a little bit just because I felt like I was really close, but I wanted to make sure you guys could see what I'm doing. But we're going to go into the center and we're going to loop these black horizontals out to themselves. We'll go back into that same pin and loop the purples diagonally outwards to the outer rows. Back to the center and loop the turquoise forward. We're going to come to this side pin next to the center that we've been looping out of, and we're going to loop that olive green into the upper middle. We're going to back up and loop the other side of the olive green outwards. We're now going to flip the second band over on those same pins. This side always is the one that gives me a hard time. There we go. We'll go into that same pin and loop the coral out to the outside and then back up and loop the white border forward. We will finish off that by flipping the third band over. We're going to come to the right, locate the last coral that hasn't been looped. There's mine. So we're going to go right here, loop that outwards, back up a pin and loop up the border, and flip my purple. So you're going to keep following these steps all the way up the loom. Take your time, follow along. If you lose track, just come back and watch me because I know there is a lot of steps to remember. So I am going to go off camera and get this finished. It takes a long time to get it completed. If you have any problems, just watch the previous instructions and then I'll meet you guys here at the top. Okay, you guys, so hit that pause button once you're caught up with me and we're at the top of the loom. All we need to do is loop these bands straight into the middle. Don't forget that third band that was on the top corner pins, the purple, the one we've been flipping all of the other times. Don't forget to flip that at the top. If you do forget, it's not the end of the world. I just wanted to remind you, but we're just going to loop the top row inwards to the center from both sides. And then we're going to grab that loose olive green band that we left there earlier. We'll go down into the center, grab the other side of it, bring both ends together, and attach our C-clip. So you can temporarily C-clip it or put your hook through it if you are going to go ahead and make that extension. I'm not going to show you how to do that today, but I have plenty of videos showing how to do an extension. You can use your hook, the auto loom, or lay zigzags on the pins and then attach your bracelet to it. So I'm going to go ahead and get my bracelet removed. So sometimes when you take it off, a lot of my examples, there's like a lot of loose bands. So you will definitely need to go down it and pull on it like this. But at the bottom here, a lot of times you need to either use your fingers or put your hook up into this cap band right here and just pull on it. It will help tighten things up and pull the cap band out so you can close it off. So that's the cap band there. And then sometimes this last white band gets a little loose on the outside. You can just pull it from the inside a little bit and then stretch it so it's not so pulled out. One last thing, if any of your coral bands are very stretched out, because sometimes mine have been like that, just flip it over to the back and pull on that same color band. So for me it's coral, I would just flip to the back and go up them and pull them to tighten them. I pulled the wrong band, but you know what I mean, right? You just pull it from the opposite side and it will clean that up. But that is it, you guys. That is how you make the Fire Prince bracelet, designed by Gabby, known as Garamanic_cosplays on Instagram. So thank you, Gabby, for another beautiful design. We thank you so much. I thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Thanks, guys. Bye.